respond more fully.
Let's go live now to Penrith, and Laura Jays is standing by for us this morning. Laura, bipartisan support there from Brendan O'Connor and the Labor Party generally, but still pockets of concern about the prospects of a second airport for Sydney's West.
They certainly are, Kieran, and joining me now is the member for Lindsay, Fiona Scott. Now, Fiona, this announcement seems to be a long time coming. Is this a good thing for your electorate?
Look, I think the most important thing for people of Western Sydney is that we're finally having a conversation about the importance of infrastructure and the importance of creating jobs for the people of Western Sydney. And I have to say, that part of the discussion I absolutely applaud and think is a really good thing.
What part of the discussion are you concerned about, though?
Look, I think as long as we're focusing as to how we're going to create jobs for the people of Western Sydney, that we are going to build the right road and rail infrastructure, I think that's where we really do need to start from. And every conversation I've had with the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's senior staff and ministers of the Abbott government has been it's about building the right roads and infrastructure, and that the roads absolutely have to come first.
OK, so how much money do you expect the Prime Minister to set aside then? There's been talk of a $300 million package. That's going to be nowhere near the kind of money that's required, though, is it?
That's absolutely correct. I mean, $300 million is not nearly in the vicinity of when we look at the immense need of road and rail infrastructure for the people of Western Sydney. I mean, for where we are today here in Penrith, we're looking at the northwest growth sector and the southwest growth sector. Effectively, these are going to be cities the size of Canberra to the north and the south of Penrith. We need to know of a master plan that's actually going to link these two really big cities, and how that will come through places like Penrith. This is an area where we like our quality of living, we like what we have here in Penrith, and we do need to see that the government is going to support the people of Western Sydney, and we are going to finally build the right roads for the 21st century that's actually going to be best for the people of Western Sydney.
As always, the devil will be in the detail, and what you seem to be most concerned about and the detail you want to see is about that infrastructure. But on the airport itself, the runways, what direction they will go in, whether it's a 24-hour airport, are those things that you will be seeking clarification on?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of master planning, there's a lot of planning out there from previous versions of the airport. I mean, this is a discussion of 50, 30 years worth. So what I'll be looking at when we do have an eventual decision about the airport, because we've got to remember it does still have to go through Cabinet, so anything in this regard is quite speculative, and I'm not in Cabinet, so I can't speculate what the Cabinet is talking about. But the size of the airport, what direction any airports would go, configurations of that, the impact on the environment, the social impacts. I mean, there's a lot of information that has to be known about this, and it needs to be for the people of Western Sydney what's going to be the best solution. And that's why, for me, I absolutely look at how any infrastructure of Western Sydney is going to work, how it's going to dovetail together, and the assurances that I have from the Prime Minister is that he's looking at a full infrastructure plan for Western Sydney, and that roads have to absolutely come first.
But what's the line for you? Should this new airport at Badgerys Creek have a curfew?
I think what happens for the people in the eastern suburbs should be exactly the same as the people in the western suburbs. We deserve what's best for our community, and I don't support a 24-hour airport.
Some that are supportive of this airport say that it wouldn't be viable without it being 24-hour. What do you have to say to that?
Look, I think that's an economic discussion that all still has to happen, and all the Prime Minister has said that he'll make a decision one way or the other regarding Badgerys Creek. We will see those sorts of information come out of Cabinet. I think the size, the scope, all of those pieces are yet to be determined, and I think I'm probably not going to comment on what the commentariats say. I'd prefer more, I will evaluate it when I see exactly what it's going to be.
And just finally, is it fair to say that this is a polarising issue for the electorate of Lindsay? Will this make it more difficult for you to retain your seat at the next election? How will you be trying to sell this to your electorate?
Well, I don't look at it how you're going to sell this. I think it's how I listen to the community and hear their thoughts and concerns, and that's something I have been doing. I have been to various community forums. I'll continue going to community forums. We've put out quite a few surveys through our office. We take those thoughts and concerns, and I will continue to represent the people of Western Sydney and the people of Lindsay as to how they feel about this exact issue.
Fiona Scott, thanks so much for talking
Thank
to
you,
us
Laura.
today. Kieran, back to you, but as we have heard this morning, all throughout the morning, and from Fiona Scott as well, yes, it is a polarising issue that doesn't necessarily fall along political lines. What this seems to be is, yes, we support it if we don't live in the flight path. So there's a lot of extenuating circumstances here. The devil will be in the detail, and we are yet to see that.